Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that she's not going to marry a billionaire? Okay, let's research this, shall we? How many billionaires are in the world? So as of March 2026, there is a record of 3,428 billionaires in the world. I have a feeling that you are right. Pulling one of them is pretty unlikely. Also, don't forget about the female billionaires. After deducting them, the number is even smaller. I, 47 male, have a bit of a problem.
I want details.
I have a daughter, 20 female, and my wife is 46 female. She isn't my daughter's biological mother, but she has been in her life since she was 13 years old. Her mother and I divorced when she was 12 due to her alcoholism. I'm sorry to hear that, OP. I can't imagine how hard it is to not have your mom around all the time when you are growing up. For about a year now, my daughter has got it in her head that she'll marry a billionaire, and that it will be the only way that she can be happy in this life. I can only speculate that she has got this idea from social media. Social media really convinced people that having a regular job, a normal apartment, and an average relationship means that you failed in life. Meanwhile, most people online pretending to live luxury lifestyle are liars. She's not doing great in school at the moment, and all she talks about is marrying a billionaire. How she thinks she can meet one, what type of house they'll have, how she'll be in a private jet, etc. I remember when I was little, I told my mom I'm going to be rich and famous and I'm gonna buy her a sports car. But I was 4, not 20. Also, why look for a man, build something, and be your own sugar mama? And she's trying to take the steps to make this happen, which has me worried. I found out that she has, for example, spent time in hotel lobbies, bars, having a drink, trying to pick up older guys.
Excuse me?
Honestly, I don't blame you for being worried. This stopped sounding like a fantasy the second she started to build her life around it and neglecting school over it. Mind you, we do not come from poverty and she has never experienced financial insecurity. But we are definitely not billionaires. That actually makes it more interesting to me, because this isn't come from survival mode or financial trauma. It sounds like social media completely distorted her expectations what life's supposed to look like. My wife has a brother who is very well off, and my daughter has actively tried to get closer to him and his family in the pursuit of health. Imagine how far she could get if she would invest the energy into herself. It got to the point where she ended up sharing selfies from the family house on social media, and now she's not allowed in there anymore due to the violation of their privacy. She has pulled similar stunts with other friends and family who have even a bit of a more lavish lifestyle. See, this is what I don't understand. You are already around people with money, influence, and connections, which is something that most people would kill for. And instead of networking intelligently, she is posting selfies in luxury homes for social media validation. Instead of this, she could easily build something that she could call her own. She also has tried to message some of my own work associates who are in a more glamorous position at work than I am. And I had to find out from them after they shared what my daughter has been sending them on LinkedIn out of all platforms. She had been sending suggestive stuff to them and asked one of them to buy her fancy jewelry.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
At this point, I don't even think she wants love, stability, or success. I think she wants the image of being envied online. My daughter isn't stupid. She always has done well in school until recently. Her performance is very bad at the moment. Got into a good university and is proficient in multiple languages. She also wrote a book when she was 16 and made it quite successful even. But something has happened that has made her so obsessed with money, and I have no idea what it is. She is temporarily staying with us for some weeks as she is looking for a new apartment. And for the past 4 or 5 days, this entire thing has had her so depressed that she hasn't got out of her bed and keeps crying out because she doesn't have a billionaire boyfriend / husband and has to stay in places that are not as glamorous as she'd like. She cries like someone has died, and it sounds like intense grief. Every morning, we wake up to her sobbing in her room. Reading this definitely changes things for me because it doesn't sound like a spoiled girl chasing luxury. This definitely sounds like some sort of mental breakdown or emotional crisis. The fact that she used to be motivated, successful, and productive makes it even more alarming. I've tried talking to her and have tried a loving approach of comforting her and telling her that one day she'll find someone who loves her as much as I do. It hasn't been good enough, and she'll say nasty things like, yeah, but he'll probably be broke, so I don't care.
Shut up.
I then took a more direct approach and told her that there's only a very tiny fraction of the world's population who are billionaires. And most of them tend to marry each other or are married already. So the statistical odds of the billionaire romance happening for her are practically zero.
I want it now!
Yep. Probably more likely she could build a successful life for herself than have a billionaire fall into her lap. My wife thought I was being an by being so direct with her and that I didn't have to ruin it for her like that. Your wife is wrong. Your daughter is not 6 and we are not talking about believing in magic. She tried defending her by saying that my daughter is still young and that I should allow her to have her fantasies. But I just don't agree. Everyone can dream, sure, but the fact that she has already violated the boundaries of multiple people and that the situation is getting so on top of her that it's affecting her academic performance means that something needs to be done.
Exactly.
This cannot be healthy in the long term. Plus, her talking to much older men is just dangerous, and I really worried that she's going to end up hurt. So, am I the a-hole for this approach? I actually think your reaction is pretty grounded. You try gentle reassurance first, then reality checking when things escalated. Your wife's perspective makes sense emotionally, but protecting someone's feelings shouldn't mean ignoring their self-destructive behaviors. At it, I've reached out to a therapist and I'm also going through my daughter's social media at the moment, which is all public. I am trying to find any glaring red flags that may put her in danger. We'll update later. Thanks everyone for your suggestions, aside from those who just provided a list of ways to marry rich. What happened to love? As someone pointed out, yes, love alone does not pay the bills, but what is wrong with looking for a partner that has a stable income doing what they love? That is also pretty rare nowadays. The job market is the most terrible it ever been. Stability is not only found in the riches. Why does this person even have to be incredibly rich? Maybe I'm just being a weird old person here, but I'm honestly astounded that this attitude is so common these days. I feel bad for the TikTok generation. I think your reaction is pretty reasonable. You want what's best for your daughter, and money is not everything in life. Healthy people aren't looking for billionaires. They want trust, stability, respect, and someone who they can build a life with. I think reaching out for help was a good decision. It hasn't been many hours since my initial post, but I'm honestly trying to process everything, and I think writing this will help me. So it's Sunday, so there has been zero response from the medical professionals I contacted. No updates there. If my daughter wants to get to therapy, I will 100% support it and pay for it. Speaking of, many people here have blamed me for enabling my daughter. I am not quite sure how to feel about it yet. I have paid for her studies, her rent, and travel in case if she wants to go abroad to see her cousin who is she close with, and who I believe is an excellent, wonderful role model. She's a successful woman who I think my daughter should definitely look up to. I do not pay for my daughter's luxuries. She has asked for me to get her designer things and trips to places like Mexico previously, and I've told her that she needs to get a job as a tutor or something similar if she wants fancy things, because she needs to understand the value of money. I have, however, bought her luxuries like an iPhone, a tablet, and a MacBook, but with the condition that she uses them to improve her life. Example, using them at university to complete assignments. Honestly, those things, the phone, the tablet, and the computer are standard stuff that you need as functioning adults. You cannot complete a university without them. From the other hand, I really like the boundaries you created with the other stuff she wanted. Telling her to find a job is a pretty good way to teach her value and effort. I think you did an amazing job there. So I have some things to share now that I feel may be relevant.
Tell me about it.
One was that I did a thorough check of her TikTok and Instagram. She had multiple profiles, but she always followed herself, so I managed to find those. And yes, she had reposted some alarming content from various female influencers. A lot of them, surprisingly, were rather misogynistic, just packaged in a glamorous way. Lots of women saying things like, a rich man will choose a poor but skinny waitress instead of an overweight CEO. She had been actively reposting content of women's shopping hauls of what their rich husband/boyfriend got them. Lots of stuff about how men cannot love and how women should look like to get a rich guy. There are some videos she liked to repost, in particular where a woman just screams at her camera telling her viewers to wake up and stop dating brokies. Just horrible toxic stuff that will rot your brain. I'm wondering, why do we give platforms for horrible people to shape us? There are so many questionable celebrities and influencers out there. But at the end of the day, it's us who keep boosting them and give them attention. Why do we do that? She also had posts of her own from expensive restaurants, among other places where I can only assume guys had taken her out on dates. And I don't mean a 60 € steakhouse. I mean restaurants where they serve 11-course meals can cost at least 200 € per person. As she's not employed, I know for sure she is not paying for that herself. She also had a post where she explained alarmingly that women who want a handsome guy are trashy because real high value, as she called it, women go for a man's resources, not looks. Oh no, I just realized I am trashy because I would want to be attracted to the man I date. It was absolutely bizarre seeing her talk like that. It is definitely an interesting mindset she has. Then there was something even more alarming. She had written a post that implied she subscribed to some course that is supposed to make her rich and famous. Are there courses like that? I mean, real ones, not scams. Some content creator club. Basically, as I understood it, she had paid 500 € of out of her savings / the money I had given her to some Russian creator whose entire online persona revolves around provider man and her glow up. You can have all of that from 500 €. Sounds like a scam to me. The 500 € went to coaching sessions with said creator where she was teaching my daughter the tricks to make money on social media. I'm gonna tell you the tricks for free. You need connections. You need to know the right people who gonna put you on the map. Paying someone 500 € to coach you is a scam. ChatGPT would give you the same advices for free. It sounded like a giant scam in all honesty, because it is. The woman seemed rather crappy as well, proudly accepting big amounts of money from desperate girls who wanted to be famous / rich. How do I know this? My daughter had several posts about it that were all set to public, which is no longer the case as I've asked her to make her social media private, which she thankfully has agreed to. Anyway, then came the talk. I finally spoke to my daughter. I told her that first and foremost she's an adult and gets to make adult choices, and whatever she does and whoever she dates is up to her. That said, I told her I was concerned about her. I tried to gently ask what kind of guy she goes on dates with, and that of course she doesn't have to tell me. But if we can have an open dialogue, I think it would make both of us feel better. I really love how you handled that. You didn't take away her autonomy or try to control her. You gave her space as an adult, but still made it clear you are concerned and open to talk. She did end up admitting that she goes out with much older guys who are between 30 and 60 years old. As a dad, as much as I felt grossed out, I wanted her to feel safe to tell me, as if anything ever happens, she can come to me. I asked her why she's so keen on having a much older rich guy, and what that may bring in her life that she doesn't already have. She just mentioned the private jet, shopping trips, a big house. I told her that while those things certainly can be fun, it's not worth risking her autonomy and education for that stuff. Particularly because the chance that she'll end up with someone who will financially her is quite high. Well, she sort of just thought she's too smart to be taken advantage of.
You sure about that?
Go figure. I brought up a lot of bad things that can happen and asked if she had read anything about the E5s. She hadn't. I told her that there are numerous of reports of women and girls ending up in really bad situations. It went right over her head as well. It's quite interesting that she can clearly see the luxury and the taken advantage on one side, but doesn't apply the same risk at herself. It is alarming that she deemed herself too smart to be taken advantage of, while also actively putting herself in those situations where those risks are well documented. I then asked why she had been sobbing, if she feels depressed, etc., and she finally broke down in tears again. I asked if something had happened that she didn't want to tell me about, and she said yes. I froze. I thought of the worst that a dad can think of and contemplated to go and grab a baseball bat. But nope, it was something different. She stopped for a good 15 minutes without being able to say a word, but I patiently waited until she could. She told me that around a year ago, her and her friends snuck to a party together in one of these fancy hotels. Her friend apparently is also into the whole provider man dating trend. They had fun, had some food and drinks there, and according to my daughter, all the men were only into her friend, and the guy she had been eyeing for the whole night ended up asking for her friend's number instead. This then repeated multiple times over several months, where her friend would get approached instead of her. Then a little later, the girls found out that there actually was some guy who was a few years older at the university in their program, who actually was the son of a multi-millionaire. That's still not a billionaire though, but go on. It became a huge fight between my daughter and her friend, where they began both trying to get the guy. This girl, who my daughter thought was her friend, started then spreading nasty rumors about my daughter, and also had tried sabotaging her weight loss, as my daughter has always struggled with her weight. Her now former friend is now in a serious relationship with this guy, and as a result, my daughter feels like she was robbed of a potentially good future with him. Yeah, but that doesn't work like that. The guy chose the girl he was attracted to, and apparently that person wasn't your daughter. She also said that she feels so jealous all the time of her friend that is consuming her. I was a bit confused. That was all. I even asked my daughter multiple times that this was all that happened, and that no one had ever done anything to her against her consent, but no, that wasn't the case. She even went as far as to tell me that she's not even active, if you know what I mean. Sure, bullying can be traumatic, but my daughter's reaction still seems indicative of something else. She wants to continue at the university and has told me she will try again to pass some of the courses, and she hasn't passed yet, but doesn't seem to take it as seriously as she probably should. I think you should give her some time to catch up. Also, I think therapy would be a very good idea for her. She has some unresolved feelings that a therapist could help her understand. I admire how patient you were with her. Just keep it up. I think the resolution is close. So all in all, not sure where to go from here. My daughter has thankfully agreed to speak to a therapist. So that's good news. That's all for now. That's all it's needed at this moment. Just give it more time. I think overall you did an excellent job. Just keep it up and everything is going to be okay. I have another story. My friend thought she could prank me when she added this to the list. But no, I actually heard it before and it's hilarious. The poop knife.
Oh my God! What is that?
My family poops big. Amazing opening sentence. Maybe it's genetic, maybe it's our diet, but everyone births giant logs of crap. If anyone has laid a mega poop, you know that sometimes it won't flush. It lays across the hole in the bottom of the bowel, and the vortex of draining water merely gives it a spin as it mocks you. It feels like this story should come with a warning label, and possibly a plumber on standby. Growing up, this was a common enough occurrence that our family had a poop knife. It was an old, rustic kitchen knife that hung on a nail in the laundry room, only to be used for that purpose. The mental imagery of this will haunt me for longer than it should. I thought it was a standard kit. You have your plunger, your toilet brush, and your poop knife. Fast forward to 22. It's been a day or two between poops and I'm over at my friend's house. My friend was the local dealer and always had guests over because you can't buy without sitting on your ass and sampling it for an hour. I excuse myself and lay a gigantic turd. I look down and see that it's a sideways one, so I crack the door and call out for my friend. He arrives and I ask him for his poop knife. My what? Your poop knife, I say. I need to use it. Please. What the is a poop knife? Obviously, he has one, but maybe he calls it by a more delicate name. A fecal cleaver? A dung divider? A guano glaive? I love how you are committed that everybody must have a designated poop knife. Like it's a universal cultural item. I explain what it is I want and why I want it. He starts giggling, then laughing. Then lots of people start laughing. It turns out the music stopped and everyone heard my pleas through the door. It also turns out that none of them had poop knives. It was just my family with their bowels.
Please, please, somebody put me out of my misery. Have mercy on my soul.
I told this to my wife last night, who was amused and horrified at the same time. It turns out that she did not know what a poop knife was and had been using the old rusty knife hanging in the utility closet as a basic utility knife. Thankfully, she didn't cook with it but used it to open Amazon boxes. She will be getting her own utility knife now. I'm glad your wife didn't use that knife for something else in the kitchen. That would have been so much worse. Edit. Common question, why was this not in the bathroom instead of the laundry room? Answer, we only had one poop knife, and the laundry room was central to all 3 bathrooms. I have no idea why we didn't have 3 poop knives. All I know is that we didn't. We had that one, possibly because my father was notoriously cheap about the weirdest things. So yes, we shared our poop knife. The calm confidence of yes, we shared our poop knife is wild. Like this is a normal concluding sentence. But I guess every family has their own things. Apparently some even have poop knives. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stories. If you did, please subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments. I reply them all and see you in the next one.